Hi, Kyle. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. My record is out.
It's the day. It's the birthday, as you said.
Yeah.
Remember Us for Life. I've loved every one of your records. I've loved watching your career and everything. But you find those ones that you connect a little bit more with, and that might be because of where your state of mind was at the time you're writing. It just happens to be what I'm connecting with. I mean, there is a line that stands out, and I've seen a lot of critics center in on it, where you say, "Enjoy your youth." Sounds like a threat. Going through your lyrics, it's like, it seems like time does pop up through a lot of your lyrics, and maybe that's a reoccurring thing, which a lot of people think about that.
But yeah, I feel like in some strange ways, and I don't know if other people have that too sometimes, I feel like I've been concerned with time passing since I was a child already. I think that even when I was little, I was really worried about growing up and forgetting something very important. And I remember connecting to certain writers or books that kind of centered on that, like even a book like The Little Prince, talks about how there's this knowledge that a child has that you kind of lose, and I don't know, I always kind of felt like even when I was little, I was kind of this old person who was like, looking back at my life, is this strange headspace to just be so aware of time, and then at the same time, I think that then sometimes we're aware of that as a child, and then we reach into our teenage years and into our 20s, and we start to be completely in denial and unaware of time, and time is just, we're invincible, and we're smarter than everybody, and we know everything, and and then it's sort of like at your age and at my age, it starts to dawn on us that we don't know and it's really, and we're all of a sudden find ourselves in this precarious, magical time of where we kind of know ourselves more than we have before. Mm-hmm. We kind of accept ourselves more, and we are looking around the world, and we sort of are finding our tribe and our people, and people that share the same values and the same ideas, and we want to make a difference, and we want to make things better. And at the same time, it dawns on us that we don't have forever, and that nobody knows what they're doing, and no one's driving this ship, And I think that maybe that's the headspace that I'm in lately, anyway. Especially, I don't know, especially lately, especially looking around. I'm just thinking, I hope somebody nice is in charge someday, because I don't understand anything.
Yeah, I've tried, I gave up on the whole, feeling invincible or whatever that is when you're in your 20s. But, if I could live to be 700, I would. I would go for it. It's, it's just, the alternative doesn't sound too fun. So it's.
But don't you think that if you lived to be 700, you would spend like at least 600 years of that just watching Netflix or something? You wouldn't
Probably.
do anything.
Maybe, yeah. I know part of the hook of this story that also you're talking a lot about is being a parent as you're writing all of this, and that was sort of in there too, because I have a child, and kids bring such a warped sense of time. Like they allow my son allowed me to time travel, and he still does. I time travel all the time, and seeing the world from his point of view, and hearing some songs on this record that are like The Trapper and the what's the rest?
The Furrier.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember that.
No worries.
Hearing that, it's like it is such a. It goes back. I'm kind of hitting on a similar theme here, but that sense of time and time traveling and going back to that storytelling. I mean, I'm sure you are a great storyteller at nighttime because of these things.
Well, I mean. Yeah, my kid thinks that the entire world is a musical. He probably thinks that everybody just bursts into song and dance every 5 minutes for no apparent reason. But I think that you definitely get shaken up and kind of reconfigured in some way as soon as you have a kid. I felt it. Like I felt the most the most kind of vulnerable in some way, because all of a sudden there's this being that you love so much, and it hurts so much to not be in control and to not be able to just say everything will forever be okay and I could fix everything. I could fix the world. I could fix the climate. I could fix all things that are going on, because you look at this person's face and you think you deserve for everything to be great always, and there's a pain that comes with that, but at the same time, you do have this. I was listening to the show once, and they were talking about how the only way for humans to create more of a sense of time, more of a length of time in their lifespan, is to feel the feeling of awe. That's really the thing that kind of creates this. So if you go through a regular day, it kind of goes by in a certain amount of time. But if you go and you hike to the top of a mountain and you look over this incredible vista, that day actually feels longer. And by the time your life ends, if you have had a lot of these moments of awe, whether they're in seeing art or in being with loved ones or being just in awe of beauty and humanity and nature, you kind of in the same amount of time have had maybe more time than if you were just kind of going through the same routine. So I think that what happens is with a baby, then with a child, you first of all, you're absolutely drugged from the sleep deprivation, so like really deeply and powerfully drugged. But besides that, you have this sense of awe and wonder at, you're looking at everything in a different way, at the world, at the universe, at your own self, at your parents, at your ancestors, and you start to get a lot of time in your life, even though you're really busy and you're really tired. You just start to feel this incredible, 3 weeks with a baby is a lot longer than 3 weeks,
That's
on
true.
your own, just hanging out.
Yeah. I had a friend who said that a lot about trying to, have as many events in your day as possible to stretch it out. And I think one of the other things I heard was that, that whole idea of living in the present tense, which is a very hard thing to do. But if you're in the present, then the present is forever, and so at that moment you are alive forever.
Right.
And,
that's really beautiful. I have the hardest time with that. I am constantly going on these mental trips to the past and to the future. So I've been really trying to do that. I feel like I'm getting to do it more now as a parent, but I have a long way to go till I'm in the now.
Yeah, I think that's hard for all of us. But I also heard that is what a lot of these songs are. That's sort of the difference between these songs and your other ones, that they are a bit more present tense.
I feel like the thing that I really want, if I was to wish something to my songs on their birthday, is the songs that I love the most, they kind of suspend time for me. I feel like when I'm listening to a new song I'd never heard, or a song that I love, it's almost like I get to go on this trip, and it's such a complete world. And then when the song ends, I come back and I just realize that maybe that 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, it really felt like a lot bigger than what it was. And so that's what I wish for them to be, like little trips that people could take. And they can go to these places, and they could just go into it. It's not virtual reality, but it's it's kind of like a like that.
Well, it's no different than reading a book. You get to travel to wherever it is without, leaving the bed.
Yeah, and I love those art forms. I think in that way radio is like that. I love when you get to kind of complete things and collaborate, as a listener or as a reader. You get to kind of you're not fully locked in, into a roller coaster where everything is, all your senses are kind of engaged. So like when you're listening to radio or you're listening to music or you're reading a book, there's always something that's just free to wander and to be your own self. I like when your imagination can still be off doing something and your mind's eye can be seeing something while your ears are listening.
Yeah. And that's probably the reason why I've always loved all of your songs, because they do take me to those places. And the melodies are great and the orchestration is great. I mean, I can say it over and over again, but I love this album and I've loved everything you've done so far. So, for the record, Regina, it's been so great talking to you. I know you got a lot of these to do today, so we'll wrap up, but congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, and take care, and all best wishes to you and your family.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.